Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pod Owl Show. This is going to be a Pod Owl segment. I do a lot of podcasts between sports and comedy and movie, outdoor drive-in, but this particular one is going to be about the owl because I'm actually an ambassador on the Owl app, and I'm going to talk Kristen into downloading the app and see if she might be wanting to get on and share with me. Today we have with us a very talented actress, comedian, all around amazing person. Kristen, how are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing, Kimbro?
I'm doing great, man. It's just so awesome to have you here. I've been wanting to get you on my podcast for months now, and you're finally able to wedge some time in your busy schedule to come on. So I thank you for doing that.
Yeah, well, it was really hard leaving my cat, but he agreed to it. So I gave him a bunch of treats and walked out the door. Here I am in this beautiful
Nice.
nature setting.
Good to be your cat. I can see that right now.
He's gotten pretty fat in the time I've had him. He's already gained 2 pounds like in a month, but he's happy.
Nice. So I'm wondering if that crackle is from the wireless part of it. So
Perhaps.
let's just eliminate that for now. Yeah, just pull that. And this will let us know that if it's this or if it's that microphone. So
Crackle test.
crackle test. Talk to me.
A cracker doing the cracker test.
Yeah. So,
Crackle, crackle, pop, snap.
yep.
That doesn't sound as crackly, right? Oh, a
Yeah,
little bit.
a little bit. I'm wondering if maybe that cable is pushed all the way in. Oh, this cable's got to be all the way in. There you go.
All right, this is okay. There we go.
Okay, still got a little bit there. Let me just see if I can fix it with these levels. Um, let's see, a little technical difficulties, but we always try to push through them. Okay, see if that works. See if that's better.
Hello. Is it
Okay,
good?
all right.
All right, for now.
For now,
Good.
that'll work. So you're here with us today, and we're going to talk a little bit about some industry, right?
Yeah. Can you tell me more about your owl thing that you were just mentioning?
Yeah, basically it's an app that allows you to share your expertise with folks who want to learn more about what you do, and you upload some money onto the app, and then you go into the menu and you look for the experts that happen to be on and available at the time, and you can click on one of those experts and you can call them, and depending on what their rate is, it could be like $1 for 10 minutes, it could be $100 for 10 minutes, depending on how much of an expert they are and what field they're in and what industry they're in. And you can just ask them questions and get advice about any and everything that they have an expertise in. So I'm on the app as a filmmaker and as a comedian and as a podcaster. And so a lot of people will come on and they'll have a lot of questions on how to do stand up, how to write, what are some industry do's and don'ts, ins and outs. A lot of the stuff that I've been able to acquire over the 40 years. And you've even picked my brain on like some do's and don'ts with how to deal with some comedy club issues. So that's basically what the app is about. And some people go on and they're healers or they do meditation. Some people just want someone to talk to. There's counselors that are on there. There's accountants. There's attorneys. There's a lot of life coaches. Um, People who help you out with mental health issues, and um, it's just all kinds of things. There's different artists, musicians, composers. If you have some questions about how to mix or how to set up a mic or how to do stuff, if you can catch those professionals on, then you can tap their brain. Some of these professionals are so busy, they don't really have a lot of time to be on, and so when you can catch them, it's cool. And a lot of times they're already talking to somebody because it's a one-on-one conversation.
Oh, that's cool.
So you got to catch them when you can catch them, and hopefully nobody's on there first. But it's an amazing app. I've met a lot of people on there. I've promoted my comedy there. I've promoted my podcast and my drive-in movie theaters, and it's a very very cool app. And I think it's an app that that you probably could get a lot out of. So when this is all over, um, I'll walk you through it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you act, correct?
Yes, I do act. But the biggest problem for me is uh, putting myself out there in the way of expending energy. Expending energy in a way that like there's no guaranteed result. Like if you don't get cast, for instance. So I find it hard to put my energy into things that I don't know if there will be any reward for it. So I'm trying to just make my own shit now. I'm gonna be like writing more sketches, and I have one that I'm gonna be making next week with someone coming in town. So I'm very excited about that. I think just like making your own shit.
That's cool. So like the writing process of it as well. So you are a creator, you are a visionary.
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes my problem is getting manifestations off the ground. I'm full of ideas, but then like it helps to have other people put them to action. You know.
Well, that's why I asked you to be on my 48-hour film challenge team because it takes a lot of people to bring a dream to life. And what I like about the 48-hour film challenge is you have to go with your instincts on your creativity because you don't have time to second guess yourself. So if you think of something and you like it, you just go with it and move on to the next thing because you don't really have too much time to waffle about it. And that's one of the things that I like. Have you been on the production side of filmmaking?
Uh, just no, really just the acting side for filmmaking so far. I've been in production like in theater. I was a theater major. I've done like lights and stuff like that, but I honestly don't have very much film experience.
So are you interested in getting on the creative side, the writing, directing, maybe producing?
Oh, most definitely. I actually really enjoy directing. I mean, like I directed a little bit in college, but directing for film sounds really fun to me as well. Having a vision and creating a story and bringing it to life and having a message for everyone to get out of it as well as entertainment.
Yeah, no, that's I love directing. To take a script, whether you wrote it or not, and then be the person to kind of put together the compositions of what the shots are going to be about, and at the same time, um, kind of know what set you want it to be in, and you'll be instrumental in creating that. But then working with the actors and getting the performance out of them that you want for certain scenes is a very challenging, but when it all comes together, it's a pretty rewarding thing.
Yeah, like knowing what someone's process is and how best to communicate to them the desired effect, that you want to achieve. Like maybe what do they get out of the story and like what do they think of their character and what's their backstory? Just trying to understand what their artistic interpretation is, while obviously keeping in mind yours. But like everyone that comes together in the project has their own say and piece as well.
So, comedy. How did you get into comedy? What was the thing that said, you know what, I can do that?
Well, I think like just being the youngest kid in a family of six kids, you grow up thinking life is hilarious because there's always shit going on. But in grade school, I did the speech team, which is monologues. You can do comedic monologues and dramatic monologues, and I always did really well at the comedic monologues. Like just making like eighth grade boys laugh when you're just like an eighth grader like girl, like when they're just getting their hormones and everything, you're getting your hormones, but like still making them laugh is like an achievement. So I've always been interested in humor and making people laugh. But as for stand up though, like I actually was going to avoid it for the longest time because I was doing improv because I like the ensemble aspect of it of like passing the energy ball back and forth and other people having your back, and I always thought like, oh, comedy is too competitive and it's just like all ego. But then I started working in a comedy club and I was like, oh, this is actually really fun. And I love the back and forth you have between the audience.
Yeah. So, you know, the best way to evolve is to jump into anything that is extremely challenging. That's the thing that I have found that if it's too easy, I need to find what's the next level of this thing, because where my entry level is way too easy. So if it's hard, I really gravitate to that. If it's challenging, I gravitate to that. And then when I'm able to, achieve that milestone, and I'm like, okay, what's the next level of challenge? And what I find in comedy, it's an infinite levels of challenge. Like right when you get one thing down to a science, there's 10 more things you are that are challenging. Have you found that as well?
Yeah, like for me, I'm just gonna bring zodiacs into this because I can't really avoid it. But like as a Gemini, I like change and I don't want to do the same set over and over and over again. So I'm tired of the first set that I ever had. So really, I just dipped my toe in stand up and I took some time off, got a little distracted with life experiences. But those experiences are helping me think of new jokes. I'm writing new jokes right now. I'm gonna come back pretty soon, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, you constantly want to write every day, and which means you're trying new stuff every day. But it's also good to stick with the stuff that you've written, just so that you can get it down to a science. And sometimes it it requires repetition and redundancy, and sometimes just to get it baked into your head so that you don't have to remember it, and it becomes automatic. Especially when you start getting into doing longer shows, the half-hour shows, the 45, the hour. Headliners, they have to do an hour. That's a lot of material, and if you jump around too much, it doesn't get embedded into your brain, and so that you can like remember it when you're trying to do this whole hour. What's the most exciting thing for you about doing stand up? Is it the writing? Is it the performing? Is it the ensemble of all of it put together from start to finish? What's the most exciting part?
I think the most exciting thing is when I feel like a joke that really resonates with me. I feel like it's going to be golden. I really love when I deliver it and then it does hit or it does slap every time. So,
One thing about having your camera, your phone has a camera.
but having people relate to whatever or just surprise people or shock people or my biggest satisfaction I think that like when people tell me I wasn't expecting you to be like that. The problem is when your stuff is all very blue. They say that like new comics are supposed to avoid that but tend to go towards that. But it's like what if that's your personality? Like what if you are a highly sexual being? What if you started being very horny as a little child and people are constantly comparing to you? They're like saying, "Oh, you look like a 16-year-old." It's like, "No, I spent all of these years now I'm of age. Stop comparing me to someone that's not old enough to have sex yet. I'm offended by that. So now that I'm old enough to have sex, I want to talk about it.
That's awesome. So yeah, I mean the reason why they say that is because the blue stuff is easy. It's really easy. It's not that challenging. That's why a lot of people in the industry, they're like, okay, learn the clean stuff first, the TV stuff. You can always add sex and language and blue material into your show, but it's hard to extract it to make it clean for TV. And if you don't understand how to wordsmith but still get the same information across, then you lose out on those opportunities. And when I teach my comedy workshop, which I want you to take, by the way, and I'll scholarship you in because I like you. Um, but that's what I teach. I'm like, learn the techniques, the process, the paradigm, learn how to structure your setups and your punchlines so that if you get called to do a high school graduation party and you got the grandmas and the parents and the kids there, but you can still be edgy, but it's all within the language and the wordsmithing that is going to be somewhat of a PG general crowd kind of material, and that's challenging. And you can still get your message that you want to get across. You just have to use a thesaurus and wordsmith and be a little bit more creative. But then when you get to the club, then then you can be like your true raw real self, and now you're even funnier because you got material that works without the blue, and now you get a chance to be blue, and now you really kill it. So that would be like my my 2 cents worth of advice into like why they say you should work clean first, and they're not trying to say, oh, don't be you, and don't hold back your personality. We still want your full personality into your setups and your punchlines and your performance and your whole body language and your face and the subject matter. Just be creative in how you can do a show that um, is more of a PG friendly show. Who are some of your favorite comedians?
I really like SNL characters, like Molly Shannon, Sherry O'Terry, a lot of the '90s and early 2000 people, Kristen Wiig, anyone with like high energy and the capability to play very totally different characters. But honestly, the blue thing is why I took time off comedy, because I like enough people told me that I was like, okay, I just need to form some other jokes. So now I'm working on my weird side, talking about my pet spider and my pet cat and things like that. So, and sketches. I don't know when I'll come back to stand up, but I think that the sketch writing process and doing that will help me come up with a better sense of like comedic timing and things like that.
So tell me about your sketches. What are your sketches about? What do you like to write about, and what are some of the subject matters, and how many people are involved? Is it just a single person sketch? Is it a couple of different people? Uh, Tell me a little bit about how your sketches work.
Well, I'm like a very spiritual person. That's like where how my mind works. I like to meditate a lot, and I like to focus on energy and things that not everyone sees with their like main eyes. But that I want to bring humor to that and bring more of an awareness to our spiritual side, because a lot of humor, especially stand up, is really focused on our ego side, and we can't get rid of our ego because that's what sets us apart from the rest of the world. But altogether, we I do believe we all have souls, and there's like a spiritual reason that we're here, and and our spiritual side is what connects us to everyone in the universe, animals and lovers and friends alike, and other creators. So that's why I don't know, like I just gravitate towards people that I work well with and that just kind of come into my life. I'm not a big planner. Some people think that's a problem, but I'm very intuitive, and I'm not saying everything can fall into your life effortlessly. Obviously, you have to put effort forth, but I'm noticing that my greatest satisfaction for creative endeavors has been when I honestly didn't have to seek it out that hard, and we all found each other, and that's when the greatest magic has come about for me, when it came just like fluidly.
Yeah. No, that's cool. It sounds like you have a direction. You've got an idea. You've got a lot of. Turn that off. Um, uh, it sounds like you have a lot of, a direction. You got some ideas. You've got like a play. A lot of people don't know where to start. Just like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do skits. I want to do stand up. I want to write a play. I want to write a show. It's like, okay, well, what do you want it to be in? Well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Like you haven't given it any thought whatsoever as to like what you want to do and how you want to do it. It's just like, okay, figure that out and then come back and then we got something to work with. But I like how you kind of have an idea of what you want to do, where you want to go, the mission behind the message, and and the passion that you have behind the topics and the subjects. So that's going to make it a little easier for you to come up. Not that writing and creating and composition and set design and story structure is easy. By no means it's not, because you still that part of it is still a lot of work and very challenging, but at least you got some place where you can start from. Um, so When you are being like an observer of life, what are some of the things that catch your eye as far as what you want to write on, do stand up or do sketch? I know when I go to Central Park and I sit there on the bench and I'm watching people, I'm always projecting dialogue on them and filling in what I think the conversation is, and it's kind of a fun thing to do. I do that with some of my friends and some comedians. We'll just sit back and we'll be like, you know, you're a hoarder. You collect too much stuff. There's no room in the living room to even sit down. We can't even have a decent dinner in the kitchen because there's so many stuff on the table. Like we just fill in like the conversation. Um, what are some of the observations that you find in other people? I know you have like within yourself, you want to do some cool stuff, but what are some of the observations in other people that you observe that could be a source of content?
I mean, I'm just kind of stuck on that Central Park story. I mean, those people got to open their minds. Like that stack of newspaper is very cushiony. You can sit right on top of that. That's like what they're for. No one reads the newspaper anymore. It's the internet. Does your Instagram feed have? But the topic that I want to address more is like manifestation. That's a big thing now is people using affirmations and kind of like retraining their mind and having their daily sayings and that helps them align with their goals. But manifestation in the way of like whatever energy you put out into the world, that's also what you can receive. Um, so if you're kind of like really happy go lucky and you see things as funny opportunities and someone cuts you off in traffic or something, you can kind of turn that into a fun moment and create a story for them and like why they might be driving so erratically. There's a million stories that could be there. Like some lady waiting in line at the grocery store that's impatient. Like, why is she being such a bitch? Is it because she's entitled, or is it because she's about to have explosive diarrhea and needs to get out of there? And she's actually being considerate because she doesn't want you to have to clean up her diarrhea mess. So I think creating backstories for people with heart instead of immediately assuming everyone is evil or a hateful person. And there are evil people out there that have been tainted to a point of no return, but I like to manifest the good in people and try to bring out the best in people and myself too.
That's cool. That sounds like that's more on a spiritual tip. Do you think manifestation also is on the tangible where you go, okay, I am going to manifest being, you know, good at this. So I'm going to now start doing those things that can, I'm going to manifest the routine and the duties to do that. Do you think that's a, a big part of manifestation as well?
Yeah, you definitely have to ground your ideas. That's my biggest struggle. I'm not strong with that, but I'm getting stronger. I'm getting stronger through the friends and acquaintances that I meet in my life, and just saying yes to meetings and staying true to your word, not just to others, but to yourself, and having steps, daily steps and weekly steps. I'm working on that right now, and as I've been working on it, I've noticed that things are flowing to me better. But it does take effort, and like for instance, I was smoking weed every day, but now I'm not smoking weed every day, and just like little changes have helped me build momentum, and I feel like I keep climbing that hill or that mountain.
I like that. That's good. Those are good words. Have you thought about being, kind of a spiritual guru, like, somebody who can help other people with in your journey, or you're still trying to figure it out and, put your own chapters together, kind of learn as you go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely learning as I go, but I think that, you can teach and learn at the same time. We're all like teaching others by what we're strong in and learning from others and what we're not necessarily strong in. So I would love to teach people. I mean, I casually do teach people about my interpretation on how I think the world works and like what works for me, but I take into account their advice. Like for instance, my good friend that is really good at planning and organizing and making goals. Like I, that's really helping me with that because I haven't been good at that. But yeah.
That's cool. So what's next for you? People were like, "Oh, what's your 5-year plan?" I think that's it's a legitimate question, but at the same time, it's like I don't know what I'm doing 5 minutes from now. What do you mean 5 year plan? Uh, so have you looked at kind of your boots on the ground, what's next, and then maybe your arm's length uh, away plan, and next month, 5 years, and your next life, like what's what's your next move? What's the next plateau you're trying to get to? And the reason why I ask is because when you say it and you think about it and you put it out there, I think putting things out in the universe kind of helps manifest it becoming a reality, because there are receivers of and receptors of energy of things that you kind of want to see happen. So, uh, what are some moves that you would like to see happen for you? What are some plateaus that you would like to hit?
Well, as I said earlier, I'm a really big idea girl, but now my next step is turning those ideas into action. So next week, I'm going to be recording a sketch with somebody and uploading it. And I think just like posting that one will help lead me to the other spiritual sketches I have. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the spiritual teaching vibe that you're talking about. Um, but as I produce more of my own stuff, I'm hoping that that'll continue to get my ideas and my word and my interpretations of life out there, and I'll find people on the same page, and we can also create together. And other people will want to put me in their sketches, and you're gonna have me help with the 48-hour film festival, and then hopefully that will lead to me being in more films and maybe even a TV show someday, like a sitcom. A lot of people have said to me in the past couple of years, like, I could see you on a sitcom. I'm like, yeah, that would be fun. I could be like a weird spiritual girl or something.
I could see that. I want to be in some of your sketches. Can you write me into some of yours? I would totally love to do some sketches with you for sure. So, it's been great chopping it up with you here. Where can we find you on the socials?
I'm currently Gusty Winds May Exist on Instagram. A lot of people in the industry are like, you should have just your first name and last name. It's easier to find you. But again, like I said, I'm working on creating my own stuff, and I am different, and it's okay to be different. And I don't need it to be first name, last name at this time. I might change my opinion later and try to get cast in traditional films, but right now I'm kind of paving my own path, and that's what feels best for my soul. So yes, my Instagram is Gusty Winds May Exist, and I'm not going to buy followers, but if you feel my vibe, you can follow me, and I'll follow you back if I feel your vibe.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to follow you, and I definitely want you to download the Owl app so we can talk there and get that going. So, welcome to my 48-hour film challenge team. The team name is the PNN Academy, and so that's going to be the team name that we work under. And for those of you who don't know how the film challenge works, basically everyone meets on a Friday, which by the way, it's August 4th, is when we all meet, all the filmmakers, and it's over 190 something filmmakers. So LA is one of the largest ones in the world. And you draw a genre. They give you a character name that has to go into the storyline. They give you a line that any character in the film can say, and then they give you a prop that has to be used in the storyline in some way, shape, or form. And then you have 48 hours to make that film and you turn it in. And then we have a red carpet screening 2 weeks later. And then they have a jury of film industry experts that will look at the films and see them from a technical side and from a cinematic side. And then there's the audience choice, where you pack the theater with your friends and they all vote on your film and two other films. One year I packed the theater, I must have had 80 to 100 people there, but they only voted on my film and they didn't vote for two other films, and all those votes were disqualified because you have to vote for three films. That's the rule. If you don't vote for three films, then that vote doesn't count. And people are like, man, you should have won. I don't understand. We voted for you. And you didn't even it's like, well, did you vote for two other films? We're like, well, no, we just voted for your film. I go, well, that's why your vote didn't count. So this time We're going to make sure that everybody votes 3 times, and our film can be one of them. Okay, so thank you very much for stopping by, and uh, we'll have to do this again.
Okay, yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me. Sorry if it was cringe. This was my first podcast. Thank you for your time. And I'm sure you can put me on this podcast again in like a month and I'll be like totally different. Also, I want to take the moment to say that all these tattoos are fake. I have a real tattoo, but it's covered. I was helping my friend with his makeup. He's a makeup artist and he put these tattoos on me and it was really fun. His name's Aldrich Chica. Check him out. He's a really talented makeup artist. These are Tinsley transfers, so shout out to those guys.
Awesome. Maybe he can be on our team for our makeup. Yeah. And you weren't cringe at all. You were awesome. You're amazing. Uh, all right. Thanks a lot. You guys can find me at podbrother.com. You can find this show, podbrothernation.com. If you want to find out about any of our drive-in movie theater stuff, go to hollywooddriveinfilmfestival.com. And we just launched our Hollywood Drive-In Film Festival membership. We're doing a lifetime membership for those of you who want to take advantage of all the cool amenities that's going to be coming down the pipe once you're a member of the Hollywood Drive-In Film Festival. And I thank you for your support and your love. And we will see you guys a little bit later. If you want to ask me anything about comedy or filmmaking or just life in general, download the OWL app. It's owwll.com and just plug in comedy as my promo code and you're good to go. So this is the Pod Owl checking out, saying thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you guys online. Peace out.